Past Reporter, and we are back on the Lower East Side doing a little Sunday afternoon tour. I'm going to try to pop into a few places, do a rough cut run-throughs of some of the things that are coming back. We've all been in lockdown now, and it's just the beginning of the 2020 fall season. Special shout out to our friends, our dear friends, longtime viewers in smoky Northern California, flaming Oregon, smoldering Washington. Our hearts are with you. I'm praying for rain. Okay, well, we are back on Orchard Street, and we're gonna run in here to McKenzie Fine Art, and we're gonna look at an exhibition by Paul Corio, right? Paul Corio, and it's titled "What Kind of Fool Am I?" Well, we'll start over here. Basically, Paul is a geometric abstractionist, and he's doing some interesting things with color. This is called double paradiddle and regal speaking. These are both acrylic on canvas, 20 by 16 inches. And well, Valerie was explaining to me that what appears to be just spontaneous choices in color and things like that are based on Paul's system of numbers derived from racehorses and handicapping racehorses. Okay, that's more complex than most of the stuff I deal with, but it gives him some kind of an uncontrolled structure that he begins the color layouts with. This piece is titled Jones and Ricardo 2020. That's 48 by 48. Yeah, I like this piece. The Subterraneans.
That's the title of a Jack Kerouac novel.
Okay, Jack Kerouac. I was wondering, I thought maybe it was Jean-Paul Sartre or something like that. The Subterraneans. But this really gives you a chance to see Paul's great color sense. And I was thinking that this actually has the kind of optical illusions that you might get in a M.C. Escher lithograph or something. These little stairway forms are really nice. Also, I like the way that he plays off the lights against the darks. Keep running through here. It's titled Nobody Move, 42 by 30. He's got like maybe the large version of this or another painting that's kind of based on this same format. We'll come to at the end of the show. I like the way that he's cut off his blue lines on this corner. Again, beautiful color. Sunflower Sutra. And I think, yeah, Paul's got kind of an interesting take on color. So So I've got a kind of a pistachio green and a grayed out magenta. And I bet Paul spends a lot of money on masking tape. Chim Chim Cherie, okay, we know where that comes from. This is the piece that Valerie was explaining the layout that was derived from the horse racing. So evidently each one of these little lozenge would have a certain number, which would be the number of horses in the race. And then your lightest triangle would be the winner, radiating out into the rest of the lozenge. She even said that Paul wins some money on the horses. It's titled Mad Asphodel, 2019. It's titled The Kremlin Ball, 42 by 30. Well, I think one of the interesting things about the way that Paul, well, for one of his compositional ideas of using the horse racing is that when you're working with pretty strict geometric system, that if you don't somehow introduce some kind of chance or spontaneous something in there, that it can get pretty boring pretty fast. Call the cat. And again, he's kind of chopped off the white lines on two edges of the canvas. Pecan patty. Also, I was looking at some of these and thinking that it's almost like a rainbow roll, a fade of this yellow down into just an off-white. But in reality, each one of these diamond shapes is solid color, so the fade is all illusion. Thorny tail. Again, this is a fun piece that really does play with the kind of the optical illusion of the steps, and also it's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum in that this is all kind of dark fading into light, where some of the other ones we've seen were the light colors fading into a dark background. And it's really nice the way this makes the colors read in a different way. This is 42 by 72 inches, so 3.5 by 6 feet. Okay, we're gonna run through the rest here. Mephistophelian, which I guess relates to Mephistopheles.
Yes.
And again, a kind of an odd group of colors to be working with, but somehow he pulls this off, and some very nice passages where the pure colors kind of run into a almost total gray. Okay, we're almost done here. Deglo Nero. It's 48 by 38 inches. Well, I was kind of looking at this and thinking it reminds me of a bar chart, but then I stood back and thought about what's happened to the Manhattan skyline in the last 5 or 6 years. If you get up about 52nd Street and you look uptown, they've built, gosh, about six or seven sliver towers up there. So it kind of looks like that at dusk. Okay, well, we're gonna wrap up looking at this. Big engine, 71 by 53. Well, I like the way that it's kind of got a couple of compositional things floating on top of each other. So we've got a kind of rolling cube forms, and each one of those have kind of various patterns on them, on each facet. Some of them are striped, some of them are checked, some of them have harlequin checks, and then you have this blue-violet line that it's kind of out of register. Okay, so that's been a look at Paul Corio. Corio? What kind of fool am I? At McKenzie Fine Art on Orchard Street. Okay, we're gonna try to roll on and catch some other things. Now we're on Suffolk Street, folks. And, gosh. I initially stuck my head in here at Pierogi and thought, gosh, this is a pretty strange place. What happened to the gallery? Quite a wonderful and substantial installation. This is actually a collaborative piece between Ward Shelley and Douglas Paulson. Engineering consent, perception management, public opinion, consumer motivation, managing democracy. Now, okay, a couple of things that we should note. First of all, if you are a Republican or a Trump supporter, or even someone that's against the deep state, you're probably going to hate this. The other thing I would ask you to note is that, well, this is constructed in such a way as to appear that it's all made out of cardboard, although I think there are probably some structural elements in here that are lumber. Also, yeah, all these bookcases are just like a third of an inch deep. So you just get the spines of these books. And also, yeah, all of these boxes are basically empty. But maybe the potentiality of what they could hold is actually their poetic content. Okay, let's see. Spare quarantine lies, flex ducks, troll farm servers, selling racism with sex, the unvarnished truths. I'll give you a brief history thing here. Pierogi Gallery was one of the first Williamsburg galleries, and gosh, probably for about 20 years it was one of the stalwarts of the Williamsburg art scene. Joe Arnrine was actually sometimes called the mayor of Williamsburg. Okay. I think there might also be part of a fundraising auction, something like that, going on here. As I was saying, Pierogi Gallery and Joe were on the Williamsburg art scene for a long time, and Ward has been showing with Joe probably for, well, let's say the late 90s. I know that I covered at least one of his shows where he was actually living in the walls of the gallery, and he would stay inside and make art during the day, and I don't know what, maybe he was editing videos and other things, but then at night he would sneak out, run around, get food, things like that, and then he would be inside the walls, and they had a closed circuit TV system set up there so you could watch him spend his time in there. You can go back in the files, the James Kalm files, and see maybe one or two other programs. I know that he had a piece at the Sculpture Center. It was it's like a tall, narrow apartment. I think it was about 3 stories tall and maybe 5 feet wide, 40 feet long, something like that. And he and maybe a couple of people lived in that space for, well, the run of the exhibition, which I think was about a month and a half. Okay, Well, I was told that this is an interesting kind of a flow chart. Okay, so it starts out with Christian conservatives, a network of political allies. Now, a lot of the people that are doing flowcharts and timelines are people that have been influenced very heavily, and I will include myself in here, by a gentleman that Joe showed, Mark Lombardi. I think Mark had maybe 3 shows with Joe before he committed suicide. And I believe that was in the late 90s. Okay, Neil Boosley, Giovanni MDC. Okay, so Mark would design these networks of connections of various influential people. And in one of his reviews, he says that one of his major influences was Herbie Marcuse. Take a little closer look. He also does a lot of very intricately designed and thoroughly researched diagrams. Okay, I don't know what the title of this is. Anyway, he's done diagrams that deal with the history of feminist art, the history of aesthetics. Okay, here we've got art movements, recycled, ripped off from the ideas. Got history, artists. Okay. Anyway, Ward was a major force in the Williamsburg, I guess what you would call the conceptual side of the Williamsburg art scene for quite a while. Conceptual performance art. Well, this has been a rough cut run through Lower East Side. In the middle of September 2020, we're just coming out of our COVID crisis. And this has been Ward Shelley and Douglas Paulson, the room where it happened, here at Pierogi on Suffolk Street. You can like this, share, link it to all your social media sites, and you can leave your thoughts, ideas, comments, criticisms, and reviews below. I would just ask you to say thank you, Kate. Whoa, thank you. What's your name?
We're Defunk. D-U-E-F-U-N-K.
Defunk.
Defunk.
Okay, thank you.